What's going on, family? Happy New Year's, and Happy New Year's. 2024 has been definitely a year of exposure, but the gang stalking program was not yet exposed. A lot of exposure in the Hollywood industry and things like that, which has nothing to do with me. But as far as this intertwined arena of witchcraft, psychological warfare, technology, um, it has not been exposed, and this probably has been happening for a long time, and we're just being aware of it because they made it overt to us. You know, you got to think there's a reason why we're being allowed to go through this program, and everybody has their own theories and things like that. And then once you become overt to the program, the world is just weird and spooky, right? But when it's covert, everything's fine. Everything's regular. Everything's what you've been programmed to normal life on this world. But we just don't understand this miracle planet that was created that has a fine atmosphere, according to scientists and according to the science books that we researched and been programmed to. Other planets around us don't have the atmosphere that this planet has. Even though this planet's not the biggest in this so-called star system or solar system, um, you know what I mean? There's actual proof of living organisms. You know, the so-called UFO discoveries. Don't be fooled, family. This is technology that the government has through the things they call DUMBs, which is acronym for Deep Underground Military Bases, where they have a lot of technology that's far advanced. It always goes to the military first. Any type of invention that somebody makes, the military is already over it. If you want to know how this country got invaded, it was because of the military. So Christopher Columbus was part of that military that invaded and discovered anything that a certain force of people, it's not even dealing with race, you know, but a certain entity chose a certain race because that was a certain race that it chose at that time to, do its work, do its bidding. And, whatever is new, you know what I mean? There's a squad, there's a military that discovers it first. They discover it, and boom. It won't be exposed to the public until it's fully, they have full information, full knowledge of, things like that. Then that's when they'll kind of go from there. You know what I'm saying? So basically, this program is deeper than what we know. It's something that's been going on in ancient times. It's been going on. You know what I mean? I still believe in God. Um, but yeah, I've been, gang stalk since 2022. 2024, I try to make, go through the sober route, be sober. Um, but it's dense. It's a lot of witchcraft. I could tell because I'm doing things the right way. I'm playing by the rules. I'm doing things that I'm supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, I know it's a witchcraft, and it's people that's able to break the rules, but they can't break it all the way. So I know, like, if it was up to them, I would have been like, spawn out this thing, uh, burnt up already. It would have been done. So I know that they don't have full control, but I know they have it's a lot. It's deep. It's a lot. Sometimes it deals with a lot of your past, or it's just a lot. And when you finally, really try to follow the path of God, it's not going to be easy. It's not like God is going to get rid of things because of certain generational curses. It's a lot of things, and to seek God is not an easy path, like a lot of pastors or people tell you just, oh, all you got to do is just, ask for forgiveness. That is one of the things in Romans, the Roman call, in the Bible, in the book of Romans, it says ask for forgiveness and your sins be, forgiven. You know what I mean? They call that the altar call or, things like that. But I don't want to get too deep into that, too deep into spirituality as far as like what is the true path or the true way of forgiveness of sins. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of mainstream people that follow that, and that will really, disturb a lot of waters, a lot of peoples. You know what I'm saying? Those are the steps that you take when you at the beginning, at the elementary phase. But there's a lot of profound truths that a lot of the apostles, disciples, and some of the Jews, they had to realize, like, you know what I mean? Wow, this is deep. You know what I mean? But yeah, I tried to take the sober path and stuff like that, and my mind, as you see in the shorts, it was just a lot going on. I'm good. I'm not, you know what I mean? This is a new year, 2K25. This is definitely going to be a year of recovery and a year of blessings. 2025 is a year of recovery and a year of blessings. Right now, you know what I'm saying? I got on my little drink. You know what I mean? I start off the new year. Today was my birthday or whatever. I ain't really, okay, it is what it is. But, just this year, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to find ways that get my mental to cope with certain things. I tried to go through the sober route, but it was okay, but it was just like everything was just felt like it was kicking at my brain. Sober, everything was kicking at my brain, and I'm just don't feel like I was there yet sober, but the Bible does say his chosen people, they're sober, they're alert. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to get back on that path of being the chosen, I got to be sober, I got to be alert. Regardless of what knowledge I know or how my heart is, you know what I mean, outside of sobriety, you know what I mean, it's a different path. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm drinking, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to cope my psychological because of this program. You know what I'm saying? So for this new year, out here in the mountain at nighttime, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm thankful of what I have. It's just certain type of mental blockages. Sometimes you can miss home or being home. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's situation different. You get what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's situation different. I've been in and out of jail, things like that. And through this program, I was able to get out of a state that I was trapped in, Georgia. I love Georgia. Don't get me wrong. I love Georgia. Georgia is like all I know, really, other than the vacations that my mom took me out on Florida and, certain places that I've been out on, family reunions in Detroit. I was at a family reunion in Detroit before I ventured off in this gang stalking program. California. I lived in California. My grandparents stayed out in California. So I used to go out in California every summer and stuff like that around the LA area, Riverside, Moreno Valley when I was young. So, but other than that, majority has been like Georgia, around the Atlanta area, from Stone Mountain, certain parts of Atlanta, kind of on the outskirts, you know what I'm saying? Gwinnett, or what they call the North Side and things like that. That's pretty much been like my turf and area. but I've been, you know, in Bankhead. I've been all the way down in the West End area. You know what I'm saying? I worked out in Bankhead and stuff like that. I met a lot of people in my lifetime to get to the point where I'm at now. And like I said, I've been in and out the wall and things like that, locked up and stuff like that. And I've been thankful that God, the overseer, has been helping me out on my path for now. You know what I'm saying? But, in Georgia, they had me, Truth be told, it is what it is. They had me. Had a warrant on me from probation. You know what I'm saying? Something I did way back in 2008. And, in certain towns in Georgia, it's very racist. Certain towns in Georgia, if you don't know your rights or know your laws, I can admit I was dumb. Didn't know my rights. I didn't know my laws. Had a attempted robbery, aggravated assault way back in 2008. And they gave me a gang of time. Kind of unnecessary time. But because I had no knowledge of first offenders. So since I didn't have really knowledge of first offenders, I was young. And when I got out, I didn't know that my background was squeaky clean. Because when the first offenders, your background's squeaky clean until you get some type of charge. But I didn't really get a charge. I got a technical, meaning a violation. So they violated my first offenders off a technical, not even off a extended charge. So they did me dirty. So they gave me the full extent of the time, gave me more time on probation. So it ended up being 20 years. And at the end of the day, it's just like I'm at the point. It's like it's a new year. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Georgia has a official warrant on me, which anytime Georgia can come get me whenever they want to. But I know God, it is what it is. If it was meant for me to go back, I would have been got back. All the police force and stuff like that, majority of them, they're all brothers. You know what I mean? It's a big fraternal order. You know what I'm saying? So if they didn't want to come get me, it was a reason why they didn't come get me. Because I was in Florida, like super close to Georgia, and they didn't come get me. They let me walk. They knew who I was and everything. They gave me a ride and didn't let me walk. They let me maneuver. They maneuvered me. The police maneuvered me basically here. They gave me rides. They drove me out of towns. I got so many towns that I walked because I walked literally. I almost literally walked all the way to New Mexico. I got rides periodically. I got a little bit of help from the Greyhound and stuff like that. But majority, I walked so many miles, my feet should be broken. I mean, I think God really blessed me on that. How much I walked and I slept on the ground. Like I really was going through it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And for this new year, just wanted to bring it out to your attention. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I had a warrant, you know what I mean, for my arrest. A warrant issued by the judge because of violation of probation. Because, you know what I mean, didn't report to the probation office and things like that. Because of my situation, I didn't have the money. My situation, I just was I was deep in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't like close to, I could have got a transfer back to Atlanta, but where I was at, my mindset, I back on drugs, sprung out on drugs, so I didn't report to the probation. You know what I'm saying? The probation, it been running since 2008, remind you, since I was 17. I was 17. So my whole adult life, I've been in and out, kind of like the wall, because of not finding my way, not having the proper mentorship. But I did find a church that I went to, and I got heavily into the church, trying to, just find an escape. The church was called World Mission Society, Church of God. You know what I mean? And it's not really on the mainstream Christianity, but it was a church that really hit home. It really resonated with me. A lot of people I tried to invite because I went on my Apostle Paul when I heard about this truth in this church. I was on my Apostle Paul, like Atlanta could probably tell you. I was preaching to everybody. I was preaching to everybody. I didn't care. I was preaching to everybody. My mom, everybody. My grandfather, everybody. I was preaching to everybody. My brother, everybody. But it still was certain things inside of me that I just didn't click. Yeah, I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know what it was, but it just sign of maturity that I wasn't able to understand yet. Connected with brothers inside that was still not fully in the church because we just young and we just wasn't, you know what I mean? So just like I still found my way back out in the streets. I wasn't fully committed, you know, to God, and I made an oath to God. You know, I made an oath to God Almighty, and I didn't fulfill my oath, but God always protected me through all this, like through all the stupidity, through all the idiocracy and all the trying to do things my way. It just, you know what I mean, led me into the hands of the enemy, to the hands of Satan. But Satan was not able, even though I was in his palm, it was in the palm of Satan. There was a force that was preventing Satan from crushing me. I was literally in his palm, in the palm of Satan. You know what I mean? Who is Satan? An angel of God, an evil angel of God, an angel that also ate from the fruit. But that's another time for another time. You know what I mean? The first one that ate from the fruit, the musician, the angel of light, the with the beautiful, with the gemstones and stuff. That's just not a story of Satan. That's a story for a lot of people. That's why we here on this planet. But that's another story for another time. But the trendsetter, the one who popped it off, you know, the one this planet belongs to, the planet that we dwell in. You know what I mean? We trying to get out this planet, and we trying to establish a new planet. You know what I mean? That one, the one that was with God, that knew, that seen things. You know what I mean? It's gonna have a one up on humanity. And it's gonna alternate. And I was right in the palm. You know what I'm saying? Looking at other brothers in their situations, you know, it was a lot of brothers with getting money and they was just, you know, happy, you know, but struggling too. But my situation, my family, you know, struggling, you know, things like that. I just wasn't able to maneuver like I thought I was gonna like maneuver. You know, jealousy and all type of stuff crept in, trying to find a wife, all type of things just kind of crept in, you know, but it wasn't like, oh, you know, you get appointed wife, you get appointed wife when you deem worthy. And you deem worthy when you know, you work on your physical situation, not just spiritual. Spiritually, I was up there. I thought I was up there spiritually. I just wasn't clicking. The fire didn't click with the wires when it came to physical. Like I worked, but then it was just like I didn't really grasp, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I've been in the streets, I did my little dirt. I, you know, ran in people's houses and ran in people's cars and, you know, just kind of like a petty thief. You know what I mean? A petty drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? I was never no big time drug dealer. You know what I mean? I would just sell little petty things just to kind of get me by. I was just your petty gas station, you know, street peddler. You get what I'm saying? That just been me. I never was no big time this, big time that, none of that. You know what I'm saying? And the enemy knows that. And the enemy was trying to offer me, you know, big time this, big time that. You know what I mean? You can be inspired by God and you can be inspired by the enemy. You know what I mean? The enemy seen that I seen the true light. I was in the true light, and it wanted me bad because deep in your essence, you know, just the enemy knows things more than you even know about yourself. They can see the codes. They can see the The numbers don't lie. They can see it. You don't even see it in yourself. I didn't even see it in myself. It was a brother that got me into the church. You know what I mean? I used to know him. We used to go to school together and stuff, but I wasn't really cool with him. But I was cool with him, but I wasn't cool with him. Like, I didn't really know him like that. Ali, he's the one that brought me into the truth. You know what I mean? And one of my homeboys that I knew, Corey, aka Caliber, that's how we used to call him Caliber and stuff. You get me? Like, we used to rap together. That was my homeboy in my childhood. We used to rap together. He was really the first one that started me off rapping and stuff. And he died. He got shot at a party. Caliber Corey, he got shot at a party. You know what I mean? He was trying to be a hero. He was a Capricorn, just like I'm a Capricorn. He was born January 9th. I'm January 2nd. And he wanted to be a hero. And he took the bullet for somebody else, and he died. And yeah, that's what connected me and Brother Ali at the funeral. And after that, I was in Family Dollar working at Bankhead. You know what I'm saying? I say Atlanta, but I'm not truly from Atlanta, but I was raised in Atlanta. Like, you know what I mean? Anytime I go out in the city, but I was kind of on the outskirts. On parts where you were kind of like, certain city folks kind of look down on you and stuff like that. But I got all my knowledge. I got all my street knowledge in the city. You know what I mean? I've been surrounded, like my brother, like we've been surrounded by the city, and we've been influenced and things like that, which my moms didn't really want us to kind of be influenced and stuff like that. So that's why she kind of left out of Stone Mountain, tried to go like to Gwinnett and things like that. But it was just like her situation. She was just her. She tried to do things with our stepdad, who she got married with, but he left, and then things just got bad. I wanted like life to turn out good for me and things like that, but life didn't turn out that good for me. Life wasn't that great for me. You know what I mean? But this is me. This is my life. And I've been influenced by a lot of street dudes, street savvy, all type of things. I've been open to it. I've been exposed to a lot. I know a lot, but it wasn't my essence. It never was my essence. A lot of people used to get pissed off at me because they knew my potential. They knew what I could be, but it wasn't my essence. It just didn't, I couldn't do, it's like, it just, something would prevent me from going there. They know me more than I know myself, and they're trying to figure out ways to unlock that. But it's something preventing that. Like, nah, I'm not going that route. You know what I mean? Even for people that hurt me, people that did me wrong, I got the heart to kind of forgive them. And that make a lot of street dudes pissed. I've been in a lot of situations where a lot of gangs, even my brother, you know what I mean, they wanted me to come home, bring me home. And if people in the street world, they know, like, well, bring you home, they want you to be initiated. You know what I mean? Be a part of their gang. I was never part of my brother's gang. I used to, like, when you a little brother and stuff like that, you used to follow your brother's footsteps, but I never walked the flame. I never joined the flame gang. I never walked the flame. I never wanted to be Brim. My brother, he Brim. You know what I'm saying? I never wanted to be Brim. And you know what I mean? I never wanted to walk the flame, be initiated. His sister, she Crip. Everybody was gang. I was surrounded by gangs. GDs, Vice Lords. I was surrounded by gangs, but I always never, I like rock with them, like jumping people or clubs and taking stuff and all type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I did all kind of stuff, setting people cars on fire. Um, luckily I ain't. I'm, I ain't never killed nobody. I think, you know what I mean. I ain't killed nobody, but I done a lot of stupid GTA missions, and I got away with. I thank God I got away with it. It's cool. It is what it is. 2025. It is what it is. I did a lot of dumb things, and I know it's like a karma coming back. You know, on certain things. Certain things don't make sense fully. Certain things I kind of get a little bit, but it's not that extreme. Like the projections they trying to project. You know what I mean? But I know the enemy knew he had me in the palm of his hand, and he's trying to figure out why he wasn't able to bring his fingers together to crush me. Because he know I'm just human, and he know who he was. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, why is this human? Why can't I crush this little ant? It's like when a kid try to step on the ant and something prevents the kid from stepping on the ant, and the kid like, why can't I step on this ant? It's an ant. Same type of scenario. But I just don't understand what it is that God got for me. You know? I know like my church is in El Paso, but he brought me here to Las Cruces. He brought me here to Las Cruces. I made it here to Las Cruces. I settled here. A force stopped me here in Las Cruces. It was something pushing me. It stopped me here in Las Cruces, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what the force is. A lot of people have been trying to push me out of Las Cruces. Go to LA. Go back home. Just do your time. Some people just, go to Texas, Lone Star, Texas. Go to Texas, Lone Star. Texas, like, moped. I got my moped. Everything that I'm trying to, it's just not compatible. How the laws are set up is not compatible. My church is in Texas. It's not in Las Cruces. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind, sometimes Apostle Paul said he had to be like the Gentiles to win the Gentiles. I know a lot of people try to invite me to church and things, and I'm trying to change my mindset. It's like, I've been thinking like maybe I need to go into the churches even with that doesn't really a lot of things that I don't agree with, but to go just to show the people is like, this is what, I want to do. I want to be around positive people. I always been a positive person, really. I always been a loving person, kind of caring person. I just been influenced. And that's where I really resonate. I just didn't really have the mentorship that I like. Sometimes mom sent me to counselors and certain mentors, but I just didn't have the proper mentorship on just the proper way. You know what I mean? I always been influenced. Like, I had to find my own way. I had to find my own path. I had to find certain ways and things to give me my happiness. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like for the New Year's, it is what it is, My heart, regardless of my flesh, man looks at the outward appearance, like King Saul had an up on David, on the outward appearance and stuff like that. But God saw the heart, David's heart. Even though God said that David was the Bible said David was handsome, things like that. But it said Saul, to the people, Saul was like, oh yeah, Saul was that, King Saul was that guy. Because people looked at people differently. They look at the way the enemy looks. You know what I'm saying? People didn't look the way that God looks, and God doesn't look, his vision is not the same as how the enemy is. He's seen the heart. And that's the only way I can see why God kept me alive this far. It got to be the heart. Because my essence. What I really, really, truly want. I'm curiosity, vibing with the people. Yeah, I'm curious, like all that. Like, yeah, I grasp the knowledge well. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like being in behind the wall, being in the city, doing things, being active. You know what I mean? But one thing I can say, I was never initiated in no gang. Um, some people want to be from all different gangs. They wanted me to be like, yeah, you us. Like, nah, I didn't. I wasn't initiated. I didn't take no oath. I didn't take no pledge. I ain't walk no flame. I ain't walk no seas. I ain't, what I mean, picked up my pitchforks. I ain't, picked up my pyramid. I ain't did none of that. Like I had a venture of all that. Like I was around real killers. You know what I'm saying? I was around that. I like, yeah, like I've been exposed to that. I don't know why God exposed me to that, but I've been exposed to that. And hurt my heart. I ain't never fold. I ain't tell on nobody. I ain't never got nobody no time or nothing like that. I ain't never. It's just been me. You know what I'm saying? It'd be me telling them myself. You know what I mean? I like, whew, the robberies. Like, yeah. I'm thankful. You know what I mean? And I understand my karma and I understand why sometimes I've been put in this program, but then I don't understand. I'm like, if y'all got what y'all got, why don't y'all go ahead and, you know what I mean? Boom. But I know, like, they don't know everything. Because if they would have known everything, everything would have been exposed. I get little subliminals, but I don't get the full. So it's like, it's not making sense. That's why I know, like, this little Harry Potter, Hogwarts type organization or cult, they get bits and pieces. They get bits and pieces. They don't get the whole thing. God won't allow them to get the whole thing because God knows who's chosen. God knows who is who. God knows deep down in your essence. God knows your intent. God knew my intent was never truly darkness. It was just a stranded lost sheep for real. And that's probably how I was brought to this earth. That's probably why I ate from the fruit. Adam and Eve ain't the only ones that ate from the fruit. But, let your pastor tell you it was just Adam and Eve. But they don't understand, you know what I mean? They don't understand the breaking from the seven seals. So, you know what I mean? But the root of David, you know what I mean? You'll understand it's like from that tree, from the root of David, when you understand, when you get that tree, Adam and Eve, that tree is a story for all humanity, why we are locked in this city of refuge. You know what I'm saying? Old Testament talks about the city of refuge. What's the city of refuge? City of refuge is a place where Israelites, and Israelites is symbolic for God's people. So whenever you hear the word Israelites, we're not talking about, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a physical Israelite. That don't matter. The Israelites was just a shadow. God's people is the reality of the Israelites. So anybody that's a believer of God, you're an Israelite. The physical Israelite was just a representation until the Messiah was born. But after the Messiah was born, then the Israelites represented, it converted to anybody who believed in the Jesus Christ, right? So let's go back with the root of David. We're in the city of refuge. Okay, let's go back. I think you can find the city of refuge in the Leviticus, Deuteronomy, or Exodus. Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. A little rusty, but basically when somebody did an unintentional sin, a murder, not unintentional sin, but unintentional murder, like you accidentally killed somebody. And if you accidentally kill somebody, like you did some type of work and they accidentally kill somebody, and you were able, the judge was like, okay, back in that time, the Old Testament time, you accidentally did something. It was accidental. It was nothing that you intended. It was no pure intent that you tried to do it. You'll be in the city of refuge. Any accidental. You get me? And the only way that you can leave the city of refuge, the Israelites, they could leave the city of refuge and go back home. So the city of refuge is basically a village, a prison village, that they had to leave their home because they did an accidental murder. And the only way they could leave that little village was if the high priest died. So if the high priest was young, that would be bad, because they would have to wait till that young high priest died. If the high priest was old, that would be good, because if the high priest old, they about to die. So from the death of the high priest, that way they could leave the city of refuge. So that was a shadow to show like the high priest is a representation of God. So not only was God a prophet, but he was a high priest. And the high priest was many different Israelites. But the main high priest in the Old Testament was Aaron, Moses' brother. Aaron was a high priest. And another high priest was Melchizedek. And they both was in the Old Testament, but the order of Aaron was dealing with animal sacrifices. The order of Melchizedek was dealing with bread and wine sacrifices. So it went from animal sacrifice to bread and wine sacrifice. Jesus fulfilled that sacrifice with the bread and wine, representing the bread was his flesh and the wine was his blood, dying on the cross. So once he became the Passover lamb and died on the cross, his flesh and his blood became the Melchizedek bread and wine. And Melchizedek's bread and wine became the forgiveness of sins that they call the Passover. You know what I'm saying? It's the feast of Passover. He fulfilled the feast of Passover by being the Passover lamb. You know what I'm saying? So through that feast, all humanity now can go back to heaven. But we all been trapped in the city of refuge. And from the death of the high priest is how we can leave. So Jesus had to die on the cross, because the death of the high priest is how a person can return back to his home. So meaning this planet is like the city of refuge. It's a prison planet. And the only way we can return back home, back to the stars or whatever, the Star Wars, the galaxies, the heavens that we belong to, because we've been manipulated by the devil and we've been tricked and we follow in his footsteps, and now we're here. We've been bleached. Our memory been bleached. We've been babies born on this planet, and we have to find our way. A lot of people ain't going to find their way. It's because we, you know what I mean? We chose to, to follow Satan, but unintentionally. The intentional ones are the ones that's going to get it. The unintentional ones are the ones that's not going to get it. The unintentional ones are chosen. That's what it is. When you look in the city of refuge, that's the whole reason why God says many are called, but few are chosen. Because many intentionally follow Satan and few unintentionally follow Satan. And if I'm intentionally follow Satan, hey, it's cool. I take that. I've been ready to take that. But God been prevented me from that. He won't let nothing happen to me. You know what I mean? That's how I know it was unintentional. It was not pure intent. It was unintentional. And that's why God still protects me to this day. It's a repeated deja vu method for God to call me. But it's up to me. I have the free will choice. It's up to me. Anytime I can off myself. Anytime I can do something to do it. But there's something, a force that's preventing me from doing that. And it's preventing you from doing that. So what I'm saying for this 2025, I wanted to preach this little message to tell you this planet is not it. You can return, to a place that has no more. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. There'll be no more death. There'll be no more pain. There'll be no more sorrow. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. If you want to be a place where there's no death, there's no pain, there's no sorrow, this planet, this earth ain't it. If you think that this planet is it, then you don't believe in Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. So I stand on Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. So this year, 2025, going to be a year of recovery and a year of blessings. You know what I mean? So I'm going through my recovery through being intoxicated, through not being sober. Because God knows that it's not intentional. He knows it's unintentional. But there's certain things as a sheep, as a naive being in this world, being naive, being a sheep, there's certain people you gotta, like, you can't be around. God knows me. That's how I got manipulated, like Adam. Because Adam is a story of all humanity. Eve is a story of all humanity. And the spiritual Adam and the spiritual Eve is our God Almighty. When you dig down the layers, you'll understand. For those who ain't deep like that, I feel you. It's all good. It's all cool. Peace. But I just want to spread my message and just keep going. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to spread my truth. And I don't really, not saying I don't care, but it is what it is. Whoever takes it, whoever receives this message, may peace be upon you. But this is my message. I got a warrant in Georgia. Anytime they can come get me. And I'll be ready. I go to Georgia, let it be what it be. I already know what I got to do. I ain't going outside. I mean, if I do, they going to have to take me out. But if they think I'm going to go in there and go sad blue, I'm not going to go out sad blue. It's going to be sad red from me or from somebody else. I'm not going out like that. God know my heart. God know I ain't going out like that. God know that I'm not a super beast out here in these streets. But God know that I will protect myself if it happen to be. God know that. But God know I ain't really trying to hurt nobody. But whatever the enemy has planned for me, God just like, no, you ain't supposed to be behind the wall. Because there's a lot of people assigned that's trying to flip you, change you, do things to you. And that's one way to take me out. That'd be one way to take me out. Because I'm going to die. You know what I mean? But I'm going to die and I'm going to praise the name of my Lord before I die. And wherever I go, wherever destination it is, what it is, God know what I mean. Peace, like I mean to bring love to people. I'd rather love a person than hate a person. Regardless of what this gang stalking did to me, if it was up to me, I would love all these people. Regardless of all the dirt they did to me, forgive them for they know not what they do. I give them all the money that I have. If I could just give them a better life, I would try to give them a better life. Because I don't mean no dirt and hurt. Regardless of what people hate, look at me, see me. I could pour my heart to these people, I'll pour my heart to these people. But I can't. And something won't let me. And I got to work on that. So I just wanted to vent that. And with that being said, family, peace and love. And I hope that for this year, y'all go through y'all recovery to recover yourself and find peace and find blessings. Because the end is near. The end is near. I don't see another 10 years on this planet. I don't see a 2040. The end is near. So for this year, it's just to remind you that the end is near. We literally at the end. When the death of the high priest comes, it's done. And with that being said, peace. I love y'all, family.